Honorable Philip J. Pierre is the ninth and the current Prime Minister of St. Lucia, who has been serving since July 2021, and he was re-elected in December 2025. Parenthetically, let me just say that if you look up the word landslide on Wikipedia, you'll probably see his picture. It was a incredible election in which a super majority of individuals were elected to his party with he as leader. The minister, yes. Prime Minister Pierre is a dedicated politician and a committed district representative with over 30 years of experience in government. He has held many portfolios over the years. He's been Deputy Prime Minister as well as Minister with responsibilities for tourism, civil aviation, commerce, investment, consumer affairs, international financial services, infrastructure, port services, and transport. And in 2016, he became the political leader of the St. Lucia Labor Party, in which he actually led to victory in 2021. Now, the election was an interesting election because over the years, most of the time, it's gone back and forth between one party and another. It's only a couple times in history that one party has actually been able to be reelected, and this is one of those times. But even more importantly, this was, I think, the first time in St. Lucia history that a party was reelected and in being reelected gained more seats, meaning that the public reaffirmed the work that was being done in terms of the by the government. The Honorable Pierre holds a Bachelor's of Arts degree in economics and a Master's of Business Administration from the University of West Indies. He's well trained to lead the country. And just parenthetically, I've really enjoyed my relationship with the Prime Minister. It's always good to see him and see the work that's been done. But I'll close in terms of what happens when I come here. And normally there's a cab or a car that comes, and I often ask people, well, what do you think about what's going on in the country? Now, most countries, you'll get an earful about this is not right, this is not right. But here, it's different because they'll say our Prime Minister, number one, is a good man. And then they'll say, well, how's everything going? Well, it's not perfect. We've got a lot of things to do. And they may talk about we need to do this, we need to do that. But what will also be said is that the Prime Minister is working on these things. He understands the problems. He wants to make the solutions. And things are getting better. And that really says what this man is all about. So thank you very much for being here. I bring you the Prime Minister.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. Let me, first of all, welcome you to St. Lucia. You must have seen by now it's the most beautiful island in the world. I want to also tell you that we're very proud of Professor Cato. He's done us well. He's done St. Lucia well. And he's breaking records, and I'm sure he will continue to make St. Lucia. And our aim, our objective right now is to make St. Lucia the best place to live and work in the region. That's where we are heading. We're heading to a situation where we want our country to be the best place to live and work. And that means that we have to use the expertise of people like Dr. Cato and others so that we can ensure that our people have a better quality of life and our country becomes the best place to live and work. I am in no position to speak on on racial and ethnic health disparities. You in the room are best suited for that. And if I try to venture there, you may end up treating me how they treat politicians. And I don't want to be treated like a politician this morning. I was treated like a politician for the whole of last year. And I was successful. So I hope I don't need to be treated like a politician this morning. Well, I have a prepared text, but if you allow me, can I just look at it? But I think I've been thinking about a few things based on your topic, racial and ethnic health disparities. And I think that I just want to share a few ideas with you. I will not be long, just a few ideas, and I hope it can serve as some fodder for your discussions. It's really a known fact that, and sometimes it's people don't want to use that word, but black people are the ones who suffer most in terms of disparities as far as healthcare is concerned. It's a fact. It's a fact that it's a fact that we have to deal with. Professor Hilary Beckles, who is a professor and vice chancellor of the University of West Indies, he postulates that the reason why these non-communicable diseases, NCDCs, are so common among black people, particularly among people in the region, is because of slavery. He postulates that the food that our slave ancestors ate, the food caused them to have a disposition towards these sorts of illnesses, high blood pressure, diabetes, etc. And Beckles is convinced, and he's written, and I'm sure you could find it, he's written that he thinks that is the main reason why we seem to be suffering from these illnesses. If you look at the statistics, you will see that St. Lucia has one of the highest rates of diabetes, I can say, in the world. One of the highest rates. That has been proven, it's a fact. And you ask yourself why. And Beckles postulates that the reason why that has happened in the region is because of the food that we eat and the food we continue to eat. So he says that if we have just a basic change in our eating habits and we start from a young age, we could help or we could halt that increase in diabetes and hypertension. Now, I am not a doctor. I can just tell you what he's postulated. But that isn't happening. Apart from the fact that we have a very low birth rate, in St. Lucia, our birth rate is concerning, very concerning. I mean, there are some schools where teachers teach less than 20 children. That is rather concerning. And it's concerning not only now, but it's concerning for the future. And if you look at our kids, our children, you see many of them, at least to the eye, are obese. They are bigger than they ought to be. Our kids seem to be being to be bigger than they ought to have more weight than they should. And that happens again back to what they eat, because what they eat at schools is things that are not natural. A lot of processed foods and sweets and etc. So we have, apart from the fact that there is that disposition towards NCDCs, our children, by what we feed them, we are causing that to happen even more. And this will also lead to more disparities as far as our children are concerned. So we start from the point of diet, we start from the point of exercise. Most of our people cannot swim. We live in an island of water, and our people cannot swim. And I'm told that one of the best exercises is swimming. So folks who can't afford to go to a gym, they neither walk nor swim, but they have to go to a gym or the other gym equipment, and the gym equipment ends up as being a hanger at their home. basic. Again, health disparities, exercise. So you find we put, because of the fact that we do not exercise, we do not eat properly, we get issues as far as our health is concerned. Again, I think that is a basic reason for disparities. Now, why is it more common in particular races? Basically, because the people who seem to have more issues as far as the social and economic development of their countries and themselves happen to be our people. And that is made worse by the international body and the pressures that organizations put on us as small developing countries. We've just heard that America has left the World Health Organization. So any support or help you could get from that avenue has been closed. And at the same time, we are being told by international financial institutions to have particularly certain ratios, debt to GDP ratio, fiscal rules, limit social spending. So it's a double whammy. Apart from the fact that we can't choose our friends, we are also told that we must keep to certain guidelines dictated by international financial institutions. So, if as Minister of Finance, I have to borrow $40 million, $40 million, which to most countries in the US, $40 million is petty cash as far as government is concerned. If I have to borrow $40 million, I have to go for a series of fiscal rules. I have to keep my expenditure at a certain limit, etc. Health expenditure. We've just commissioned a new hospital. And it takes, under normal circumstances, or circumstances that we need, it will cost us about 15 million US dollars to properly get our hospital furnished and ready to go. My budget cannot do it now. I don't have the fiscal space for 15 million US dollars. So I try to have a citizens by investment program, a CIP program, and I get blocked there also. I'm told that these people are terrorists, that they will cause money laundering, etc. Now I have to be careful. You have to even be careful what I say now, because I want to sleep in my bed tonight. So it's a. I'll tell you what. It's. I always say to my friends, especially my friends in Big Islands, to to manage a small country of 186,000 people like St. Lucia, or like St. Vincent or Grenada or Dominica, even smaller than us, is a task that many will never understand. Apart from the fact that we have to deal with these international issues that we have nothing to do with us. We never caused any war anywhere. We've never caused any war in any country. We've never, I mean, there is no solution. I make the point without any fear of favor. There is no solution that will ever put a bomb in his shoe and go in any plane. Never. But we have this never, I mean, there's solutions here. There's no solution. There are too many things he wants to do. He wants to play dominoes. I mean, so he ain't putting no no bomb in his shoe and go anywhere and mash up any place. He's not doing that. He wants to live, right? But we have to spend millions of dollars for security. Millions to have port security because of other people's actions. So we suffer in our small islands. We suffer immensely because of other people's actions. So these disparities, apart from social and economic, they must filter down into health disparities. We have, in St. Lucia, we've tried to have a school feeding program where we try to ensure that our kids get at least one solid nutritious meal per day. But sometimes The funders determine that you have to buy certain foods. I have no choice. So these disparities, unless we as a region can change our lifestyles, can change our thought processes. I have been very bullish recently on water harvesting, as if it's come as a revelation for me. Although at my own house, I've been dealing with water harvesting for a long while. I was driving up today, coming here, and then I don't use sirens, so I see the traffic, and I'm going to tell you I'm sorry for being late because I was in the traffic. And I was saying to my guys, that in every house that we passed, there was water coming from the roof and going straight into the ground. And next to that, there was a tank collecting Wasco's water. If water is life, you must have water. Again, a health disparity is caused with a lack of adequate drinking water. A health disparity. If you could just have the not only the consciousness, but the ability to change our lifestyle in that we buy a tank and use the water from the rain. We will have absolutely no drought issues. It's rained, it rained last night, it rained this morning. But we have a serious drought. And when you have a serious drought, the rain that is falling from the big houses goes straight into the ground. So we need, apart from the issues I spoke about, the fiscal issues, the point, the idea that we have to follow fiscal rules, we have to follow the dictates of larger countries. There are things we can do as a country by changing our mindset, by changing the way we live, by making some simple changes. And I think in our water situation in St. Lucia, to solve it the conventional way, I will need about $400 million. I have to borrow it. I'm sure if we take as a policy and the country follows that policy and we begin to harvest water, not store, harvest. A big difference. What happens is that we store Wasco's water, but we do not harvest rainwater. If we can begin to harvest rainwater, I'm sure I will not have to spend $400 million on my water company. It's called Wasco. That money could be used to do other things. So whereas the issues are grave, there are certain systemic issues in the system that seem to always conspire against us. Our small size, our heritage, our history, everything seem to be conspiring. And that's why it's important that organizations like you and people like Dr. Chito bring their collective wisdom together and try to form alternative institutions that can assist people who are at the lower end of the social and economic ladder. And it takes, first of all, it takes the thought process. And I see that you're dealing with the thought process here. But we need to find ways to put these things into actionable things, that they don't only remain written in journals, but we action it so that we can have an impact on the lives of the people of this country. We cannot continue to live in dual societies where one level of society seems to be advancing and the poor are getting poorer. The dispossessed are getting more dispossessed and the disparities are greater. You have to find a way to level that playing field. We speak about health disparities. Serious disparities are caused by crime and violence. When our young men get shot, in gang warfare. And we seem to think, oh, don't worry about them, they're killing themselves. They're not killing themselves, not only killing themselves, they go to the hospitals. In the hospitals, it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to deal with these gunshots. Then they are crippled. You have to take care of them. You have the social welfare to take care of them. So as we may think that these guys just killing themselves, it impacts on us indirectly, and we don't want to pay any taxes. So we need to look at the situation in a holistic point of view. Then you have an issue with driving, again causing a disparity. Because when people drive recklessly on the road and they get injured, apart from the hospital cost, they are crippled. You have to take care of them. A cost on us. Then lifestyles, COPD, a number of young men are at their homes, young men, they have breathing problems because of their lifestyle. So we have to find a way to translate our knowledge and translate our intellect to make it real and practical for the people of these countries. So I want to urge the intellectual power in that room to see if we can take it away from only in the paper and bring it to reality. And I want to offer St. Lucia as, don't, I want to say guinea pig, but as a place where we can bring these things to light. You understand? Because there is enough talent, there is enough knowledge for us to be able to cause the people of our countries to live better. We can do it. We've survived the worst of the worst. We've survived. We have some of the best intellect in the world, in that part of the world. We have the wealth of countries in Africa. We have the wealth. In St. Lucia, I know you must have known, there are two guys who've become Nobel laureates. Two of them. And there are many more who will reach there, who can reach there. There's Keith Lawrence and there's Winston Paris. There are many men and women who blaze the trail. We need to convert that into practicality and convert it to make our people better, to improve the lives of the people. I'm just a humble politician offering to create the environment for people like you to excel. I haven't got the capabilities to do like you. What I have is I have the will. I have the will. And I want to create the space and the environment for you to bring your intellectual power to improve the lives of the people of that region. I thank you very much.
Well, tell us more about the hospital in terms of the hospital development and your vision for healthcare here in St. Lucia.
Well, as you know, we've just commissioned a new hospital, St. Jude Hospital in the south of the country. We borrowed $50 million from the Saudi Fund for Development, the SFD, and we got it on reasonable terms. But that just completed the physical building. The building is ready, but we have to commission it. And to commission it, I'll give a little history. There was a fire in 2011, a fire in 2011 that destroyed 2009, yeah. A fire in 2009 that destroyed a hospital called St. Jude. It was a hospital that was run by some Catholic nuns in collaboration with the government, and it served the south of the country well. It served St. Lucia well. There was an unfortunate fire, and From 2009, successive governments have tried to rebuild it. Many governments, in fact, many administrations tried, stopped, tried, started again. Unfortunately, I was the most lucky. I completed it. So, um, so right now we are trying to commission it. To commission it because it's a state-of-the-art 100 bed hospital. It's got all the modern facilities, but you have to get the equipment in. And I want to tell you something. We have a very dedicated group of health professionals in this country. And I see Dr. Joseph. I want to give him a round of applause. Dr. King is not there? Oh, hi, hi. I hope I said all was right. No. So you see, we have a number of dedicated doctors and nurses and health personnel. In fact, St. Lucia has a lot of dedicated people. I see Javed Samuel here, also Javed, a Rhodes Scholar. So our issue now is to commission it, and we want to commission it at the highest possible level. So we've started the process, but within that process, we also need personnel, and I have a list from the St. Jude also that tells me that I need to spend about 15 million US dollars for personnel only. That's leaving out the equipment. So you see my problem. And my health and security levy, it only brings $40 million. And my health and security levy nearly caused me to lose the elections. The health and security levy is a tax that we have on goods and services except food, and items that we have no VAT on. And that brings in about $40 million. And it costs us right now, as we speak, it costs us for health services alone in this country, it costs about $175 million per year. Health services alone, at the level that it is, and at a level that needs to be improved. So what are we doing? We had, so we have the St. Jude Hospital and we have the OKEU Hospital, a hospital that was a gift from the people of Europe to the people of St. Lucia. Again, a gift that came to St. Lucia when Kenny Anthony was Prime Minister and when our party was in government. That hospital stayed not working or not commissioned for a while. We formed a group of people that they call commissioning something, I don't know the legal word for it, led by Dr. Stephen King to get his hospital going. For reasons best known to who was doing it, that remained rather dormant and actually stopped in 2016 when the government changed. And Dr. Cato told you that governments have been changing in St. Lucia from 2006. We have 5-year cycles. So it changed in 2006, changed in 2011, changed in 2026, changed in 2016, changed again in 2021, but did not change in 2025. That's why I'm here. That's the first time from 2006 governments have not changed. So in 2016, the government changed and that stopped. And then COVID came and the hospital had to be hurriedly put together by St. Lucians, by local experts. Hurry had to put the hospital together, and so the OKU was never properly commissioned. That's a fact. As we speak, there is equipment in boxes, certain places that haven't been opened, because you can't blame anybody because it was a rush. It had to be commissioned for COVID, as became the plea. So we have an issue at the OKU, basically emergency services, because people always complain about the emergency services, but when you get into the hospital itself, for the equipment that they have, and for the work they have to do, I must say they give a very good service at the hospital itself, and they need to be applauded for that. In fact, it surprises many people to know that I have a grandson, and he was born at OKU. In fact, my opponents dreamed that it wasn't true, that my grandson was indeed born at OKU and delivered by local doctors and local nurses, and I'm extremely grateful for that. But the OKU, that issue of size, of space, because the original thing was a hospital with 5 fingers, only 4 was built, and the fifth one is going to start this year. Um, so hopefully by next year we should have the fifth finger built to get the space. In terms but the government emphasis has been on primary healthcare. And we are embarking on a UHC program, a universal health care. And you know more, you from the United States know much better than me what UHC, the issue of UHC. You had Obamacare, which caused, I think if the great United States could not put together a universal health care program, you can imagine what I have here. And because you have the issues with Obamacare, all these kind of issues. But what we're doing that we're trying to have a universal healthcare system, but emphasizing on the primary healthcare. So what we're doing is that at the health centers now, we are we're dealing with at least being able to do the necessary testing. So you have PSA tests, you have all the different tests. We have free maternal care for parents, but you must be in the system. And then we give people over 80 some sort of care. Hopefully, the idea is that we have a universal health care for the entire country. So you started with, so you can get PSC testing, you can get cancer screening. They just started um, what do you call it, mammograms, etc. So we're doing that. The idea is to get to expand it so we can get a situation where at the primary level we've dealt with all these illnesses. And why is it then that we're smarting our health centers? So next week we're going to be smarting. We're going to be opening 12 centers that we've made smart health centers, in that we're using water harvesting, we're using different sorts of technologies to get health centers functioning properly with the health system. But we have a big problem. Many of our doctors got trained in Cuba, and now the great United States have said we can't do that any longer. So this is a major problem that I have to face. Some of my colleagues have already taken a position and banned them. So most of our doctors, most of them, all right? Yeah, 1, 2, Cuba too? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. 3 of our best doctors are trained in Cuba. Right? Now, they also have Cubans who all come over to work. Right? So the American government has said that we can't even train them in Cuba. So I have a major issue, man. So, say, for reasons not known to them or not known to me. So these are issues where we are, but you still have the problems of NCDCs, and that's the main problem, NCDCs, and now traffic accidents, and of course the violence of young people shooting themselves or stabbing themselves on the streets. This was
We hope that this, well, first of all, thank you for that summary of everything. And it's hoped that in terms of the follow-on activities that we do here with the World Congress, that we can maybe be of help in terms of the hospital being developed, and even in terms of the people power from our medical schools that we have collectively in the group here, and also other physicians that are there. So when life deals some lemons, you make lemonade. So maybe we can make some lemonade here. But again, thank you so much. Wonderful. Great. Thank you.
Before you go, Prime Minister, I would like to present you with a copy of my children's book. which looks at activity and movement. I'm Mandy Prevo Finley. Um, we've known each other for a very long time. Well, you've known me for a long
She's from my constituency.
full disclosure.
She was asked why they voted for me.
I'm currently attached on secondment with the Diaspora Affairs Office, supporting in capacity building and thinking about ways the diaspora can engage with St. Lucia in all different ways. May she rest in peace. You're looking at a picture of my mom. They grew up together. And I would love to ask you a question about what your vision for the diaspora and their ability to support us is.
Um, what's happening right now is that people who lived in St. Lucia for more than 10 years, they get their personal effects duty free, etc. But as we speak, we're working on a diaspora bill where we can expand these services. And the ambassador for diaspora, Ambassador Dubois, is right here. We want to have a diaspora bill because it is very clear that some larger countries do not want us. It's a fact. It's a fact. So we have to find ways of making our country the best place to live and work for ourselves. And that means we have to get our people who are out of St. Lucia, I'm not looking at him, to come back to St. Lucia, come back home. And we're looking to give them the best possible environment in which to come back home to. So I've employed, or well, I'm in the process of employing consultants to prepare a diaspora bill that will deal not only with goods and not only with goods, cars and things like that, but generally to see a wide range of incentives, of concessions that you can give to people to come back home. We're working on that as we speak. So that would mean that we could, basic things, we could say if you come back home and you buy some land, you pay no property tax. Just coming from my head. Right? Based on that, so you can encourage you. So that's what we're working on because we need to get our people back to St. Lucia. So the diaspora is a very important resource for us because right now I understand that if you send in from the diaspora from the United States to the region, you have to pay a tax. There's a tax on remittances right now. So that limit. You know, we seem to be boxed everywhere we go. Every corner we boxed. We boxed. I mean, I'm not raising my and we refuse to raise our hands and die. We're not going to raise our hands and die. We're going to have to work with what we have. As Reverend says, if you have lemons, you're going to make lemonade. We have to work with what we have. But we seem to be boxed. So people who send money for their relatives now, they have to pay a tax, so what the money they send down is less. So that will affect us heavily in the region. Then there's a very issue, you know. Sometimes it's almost as if fate has conspired against us as a people. It really is. I mean, every day we have an issue now with third country nationals. The United States wants to just send people here. Just, it's ready. You understand? Just, I mean, you know, it's almost frightening. I got a document yesterday. It's frightening what I read there. Just send people home. Just send people there. It's almost like, I mean, there's nothing like sovereignty now. The word sovereignty doesn't exist now in political discourse. There's no sovereignty. And you never know when the hour cometh. So I'll leave now. Thank you.
Thank you.